Good morning, good evening, good night, and good afternoon. I'm your nighttime, right time DJ Music. And always, folks, like I said, I got 15 minutes to rock this post, so let me get straight to it. You see what they're right there in front of you. Eugenics. That's what we're going to talk about today. What made me want to talk about eugenics today? Well, when you're driving through these YouTube streets, and sometimes you stop in the chat room here, you stop on a stream here, and you stop on a stream here, and you see enough of these streams talking about the same thing, you got to go to where it originated from. That's the best way to put that. So I went to the originator of this particular subject that I'm talking about. Why I think why these folks were thinking about this person. None of them mentioned the word eugenics. So I'm going to go ahead and do it for you. They were more on a personal level of attacking said stream than they were speaking in the practicality of what actually she was talking about. You're going to hear in this stream where some people say it's about love. You're going to hear a young lady say eugenics is about, not so much in the word, she didn't say it like that, but what she's saying, it's not about hate, it's about love. Love for what? You're telling me that you're going to hear in this stream that a black woman should not carry a black child, male child, to term. Based on what? As they say over in this particular stream, black men ain't shit, never had nothing, won't, never will do nothing, never want nothing, and will never be nothing. So why should we continue to give birth to these derelict children? Again, like I always say, the same talking points that the manosphere has, it's the same talking points that some of these female streams have. The only difference, those males, they're talking about black females. Those females, they're talking about black males. The nastiness and the rhetoric is still there. You could almost go to some of these and interchange the streams, and still you'll know exactly what's the problem. It's not an overall black group thing. It's individuals. In this case, individually, Sinji collected enough folks on her panel that thought like her. Like I always say, folks, charisma and being able to articulate one's thoughts for the masses is dangerous. Hitler did it. And I'm not in no way, shape, and form comparing Sinji and her crew to Hitler and his crew. But you got to give credence to that you may not be acting as Hitler did. You may not have the wherewithal or the tools to pull what Hitler pulled off. But you still using his talking points. And that's the danger. You're not talking about a child that's birthed from a white woman. You're talking about a child that a black woman is carrying. And if the child turns out to be male, first of all, how do you know unless you personally go and get have the sex of the child that's in your womb found out? I never understood why people did that anyway. I think it's just to me, it's kind of like taking the joy out of not knowing. Is it a boy or is it a girl? Is it a boy or is it a girl? Especially when the woman goes into the delivery room. Is it a boy or is it a girl? The drama factor of having children now has been taken away because simply a woman can go to the hospital and find out the sex of her child. In this case, Sinji is suggesting that if she does go and find out the sex of the child and the child happens to be male, along with some others in her chat room, on her stream, said the child should be aborted. These are not my words, folks. And I will prove that these are not my words. Let's pause this for a minute and go on over to what I'm talking about. And we're back, folks. All right. And a lot of times in our community, we ask the question, where are the black men? Where have they gone? Well, if you are a man of my age, or you're a little bit younger, or you're a little bit older, if you were in this 10-year age bracket of what I am, I'm over 50, so that tells you that you know exactly where a lot of black men are. Remember the crime bill in the 80s that just wiped out neighborhoods of black men? 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old black men. A lot of these men got sentences of upwards of 40 years and better. A lot of them did not, as they say, get paroled. They're still in prison for non-violent offenses. Some of them for drugs, some of them for, stealing or whatever, but they're still in these jails. There's a gender imbalance in many African American communities, or neighborhoods as they put it. Mass incarceration is largely to blame. But if you go over to that channel, you will hear them say, no, that's not one of the problems. Now, I gotta say, for those of you in that kind of thing, that you know, if you're out there selling drugs, or if you're out robbing and breaking into people's house, you know the outcome of what that's going to be sooner or later. So I have the sympathies in the dictionary between shit and syphilis on that. Which one you want? Because I have none for you on that. If you are breaking in people's houses, you are selling drugs, you are poisoning our community, and you get caught and you get put up under the jail, don't look for no sympathy from me, because you got what you asked for. Because you know that's part of that game. But for those, just keep reading along. I'm not going to go through this whole thing and read the whole thing. I'm just scrolling through so you folks can pause it and stop it where you want to and read Where Are All the Black Men Gone? Now, this part, I really want you to see. There are only 3 black men for every 5 black women under the age of 65. Also, go a little farther down. Nationally, the Census Bureau counts 88 black male adults for every 100 black women, while the ratio for whites is more equal, 97% of men for every 100 women. Breaking that down, what they're saying is some black women will never marry a black man just based on the numbers. 12 out of every 100 black women will not see or date a black man. Whereas in the other vice versa, only 3 white women will never marry a white man. That's what you, if that's what you choose, is basically what I'm saying is, if you choose to marry a black man or you choose to marry a black woman, that's what a white man, you know what I'm saying. Read more. The uneven geography of black men. Geography, excuse me. I don't know, sometimes you just read words for what, as they say on, as they look on there. But the uneven geography of black men. 79 additional tracts have more than twice many black men and women, more than twice as many black men as women in primarily in prisons. So every place where you see there's an overpopulation of black men, it's usually saying that they are in prison. These are not my facts, folks. The single biggest driver behind the absence of many black men is, and always will be in my opinion, mass incarceration. You know, we have to attribute to that. There's no way we can get around saying that there's some black men in prison that shouldn't be there. There's some black men that, even though they committed a crime, what's fair punishment for selling crack 20 years ago? Remember, they was handing out this 3 strikes law. 3 strikes and you're out. You're in jail for the rest of your life. Again, for those of you who was in that criminal element, you had to know that this was coming down the pipe. But it leads to this. It leads to this kind of stuff here, and the kind of comments that we're going to go listen to next. So we got to hold black men that are in jail. We got to hold you accountable for some of the shit that you do. Let's pause here. Now, here we go. The lovely Sinji right here in front of the screen there, folks. You see her in all her glory. Instead of me talking about her or trying to set up the clip, let's just go listen to it. Here we go. Here's Sinji and her take on, do black women benefit from birthing black males? Call-in show.
Anyone should have children with black men right now. I don't think anyone should. Because if you look at the issues in the communities, they're not supporting their children, even in other relationships. They're not supporting their children. They're not being active fathers. They're not being role models. They're not being leaders. It's just too much. They're too busy just trying to find a place to sleep on their own. And that's the majority. So we can say, yeah, there's some doing this. And then the ones that do have money, they want to separate themselves from the other black men. I don't. This black man is nothing, but I'm something. So they're not even supporting each other. If they support each other, they'd be better off. Black male children would be
And can I just say that, look, this is let's do Micah and Tanya, and then I need to go to a caller. Okay, this is not hate. This is not, because people are saying, but I love my son. Most people are going to love their sons. This is not about your sons. This is not about your existing children. This is selective breeding, and it does not.
You know what, ladies and gentlemen, she is absolutely right. This is not about your sons right now. This is about our existence. This is, as she said, selective breeding. That means weed out unborn black children. If you go to the doctor and you find out that that child is a black male, abort it. Listen further.
Come from a place of hate. I don't hate black men at all. This is coming from a place of love. This is for correction. This is to reset. Again, everyone is not going to have the understanding or even the wherewithal to.
And that's what you hope, that no, everyone doesn't have the understanding or the wherewithal to see through this bullshit that you ladies are talking right now. You're clearly speaking eugenics. You're clearly speaking white supremacist talking points. If you think you're not, you're fooling yourself. There's no way that young lady that we just heard say this is not coming from a place of hate. Yes, it is. The mere fact that you're talking about white supremacist talking points says it all, that you are coming from a place of hate, because that's what they're doing. Hitler was talking about eugenics. He came. Was he a loving person, member of the Jews? He was talking about the Aryan race: blonde hair, blue eyes, brown eyes. If you didn't meet that criteria, you were exterminated. He was trying to build so-called a master race called the Aryans, not understanding that Aryans were black long before he knew about them.
Do this or even process this information right now, because there was a time when I could not process it either. But what else are you to do? Are you to sit here and sit on your thumbs and hope and wait for something to happen, or are you to do what they tell you to do? You're doing anyway. They say that the community is a matriarch, so the matriarchy is speaking, and they're speaking through selective breeding, and it's not a place of hate. It is because we are tired of seeing the women and children hurt. We are tired of seeing the community fail, and we're tired of having to be accountable for it on our own. So this is women taking accountability.
Well, again, okay, say you women are taking accountability. Let me ask you ladies on the panel, Sinji and that young lady that was talking, and all for all the other ladies that's just about to speak, what are you doing for your community? What are you doing for young black females? What is the benefit of doing these streams to just point out the ain't shitness of us if you don't have a solution? Just like I told the young man on the panel the other day that I was on, he came in there complaining about the ills and the wares of black women, why they ain't shit, this and that. And my final question to him was this: well, what are you doing about it? What's the solution that you have, instead of sitting in a stream complaining about what's wrong with black society? What's wrong with black women? What are you doing to correction it? You ladies use the word correction and instruction. So what are you doing to instruct, and what are you doing to correct? Because all I hear now is a bunch of, oh, woe is me, to the black man. Get rid of him. There's no place for the black man in our society anymore. And understand this, without black men, you won't have a society. You won't have a neighborhood. You'll have a race of, as they say, biracial children. Now go on the census and show me on the census anywhere where it says biracial. Can you? I don't think so.
Go ahead, Tanya. It's your go, Tanya, before I take this call.
Okay, so I see herein lie the problem. When we say that we should not have children with black men, there's no qualifier on that. Should people have children with problematic black men? No, absolutely not. People should not have male children or female children with problematic black men. I feel that.
And I do believe this is Tanya TKO talking in the background, and she makes absolute sense. Vet the man that you're with, whether he is white or black. Vet him. If you don't like certain situations about him, if he have 4 or 5 children with another woman, eliminate that from your dating pool. If he's been incarcerated,